Note: please do not use ancestry kits as a paternity test. If you genuinely want to check if your child is your own, get a proper paternity test at your local medical lab. Ancestry tests are not accurate and should not be used to test paternity. In my case, it simply raised the alarm to get a proper test. I apologize if this is not an appropriate sub to ask. I posted this on another subreddit, but it was locked, and the moderator suggested I ask here. I also want relationship advice on how to deal with my wife, so I want to ask for advice here too. First of all, I'm sorry if this ends up being long and rambly. I am not really in the best state of mind. My world has been turned upside down over the last couple of weeks. I just want to provide as much context as possible so I can get the best advice needed. For obvious reasons, I am not yet comfortable talking about this with my friends or family. Background: I met my wife when we were in high school, and we married in college. We have 5 beautiful children together. I truly consider them a total blessing, regardless of what I'm about to bring up. And up until a couple of weeks ago, I thought we had the perfect marriage. We were typical high school sweethearts. We go out together, we never fight, and I feel like I've done everything a loving husband should do. I am saying this not to portray myself as the perfect husband. For example, my work has always required long hours, and I may not have always been there when she needed me. But I want to stress that I've never felt our marriage was in any trouble. Never in a million years would I have suspected my wife of being disloyal. She's always done everything she could to support me and take care of our children. Now, my eldest daughter recently had an ancestry test done, and the results strongly suggested I was not her father. She confided this to me privately, showing me the results, and I could tell she was visibly upset. Of course, the first thing I did was reassure her that no matter what, she's my daughter, and I'll always love her unconditionally. But secondly, the two of us decided to get an official paternity test since the ancestry tests are not completely reliable. It came back, and I am indeed not her biological father. This news really broke me. I'm ashamed to say I broke down in tears in front of my daughter. The combination of finding out about my wife's infidelity and how upset I was making my daughter by reacting that way was overwhelming. I really wish I had kept it together for her sake, but I didn't. Following this, I asked my other children, except my youngest, to come and see me. I wanted to know the extent of my wife's infidelity. If it was a one-off, I could maybe work past it, especially given how long ago it would be. However, I didn't want to tell my youngest, as she is still in school, a teenager, and I didn't think it was appropriate to tell her yet. We told the other 3 what had happened. I reassured them that I love them unconditionally and that I'll always be their dad, but I needed to know how long this had been going on. I can't begin to explain how touching their reaction was. They didn't care that I wasn't their biological father. They were just upset at how heartbroken I was. I feel like the only thing that has kept me going these last couple of weeks is their unwavering support. So we had paternity tests for each of the 3 done. Not only are none of them my biological children, but together, 4 of my children have 3 different fathers. This somehow made it worse. It's like she wasn't just having an ongoing affair, she was having multiple. I can't explain how this makes it worse, but it just does. So I confronted my wife with this, expecting her to confess and beg for forgiveness. She doesn't confess. She doesn't even take it seriously. She says the tests must be flawed. All 4? How am I supposed to take that seriously? I keep bringing it up, and she keeps brushing it off, getting progressively more annoyed at me. When I mention it, she tries to guilt trip me. We've been together since high school. Do you seriously not trust me? But how am I supposed to trust her in the face of such overwhelming evidence? Now that I have rambled and explained what has happened, I guess let me ask a few direct questions for advice. 1. How can I reassure my children this doesn't change anything between us? I feel like my reactions, total breakdowns, have made them second-guess this despite however many times I reassure them. 2. How do I handle my youngest daughter? I feel like our marriage is beyond saving, and I will need to tell her something. I don't want her to know the truth until she's older, but I also don't want my wife lying and making me out to be the villain. 3. Is there any way at all that I could or should save my marriage? I've been with my wife my entire life. It's almost impossible to see a life without her. I know that the answer should be a clear-cut, leave her, but we have 5 kids together. If there's anything that can be done to save our marriage, I want to consider it seriously. In summary, I found out that at least 4 of my 5 kids are not mine. My wife refuses to confess her infidelity. I'm unsure of how to do what's best for my children and marriage. Thank you to everyone for all the support and advice. I have not replied to as many comments as I should have, but I've read each and every one and taken your advice to heart. I'll continue reading any comments or messages you send me. Again, I can't begin to thank you for all your support.